Hey y'all, we're the two Nerdy Nomads. I'm Paula.
And I'm Greg. And today we're coming to you live from, well, not live, because we're recording it. But we're coming to you from our apartment here in Florence. So we're really excited to take a step back and kind of share, how did we get here? How did we fly over from the States? And some of our time that we spent in Germany before we came down. We did the castle, Elt's Castle, which was fabulous. Hope you've watched that one. We'll put a link below if you want to check that out. But we wanted to take you a step back. So where are we going to start today?
Well, we originally started at DFW Airport. That's our home airport. I have family there. So we flew to New York the day before because we were doing different airlines and we didn't want a delay in Dallas to cause a delay for our overseas flight. So spent the night in New York. You saw that video. That's where our starting video came from. And we didn't really have enough time to go into the city, or I wasn't willing to risk the traffic going into the city and missing a flight. So we decided to sightsee at the JFK airport.
Yay.
Which might sound a little odd, but there's a couple interesting things to see there. We went to Terminal 7, where Condor Airlines flies out of, and we'll talk a little bit more about Condor in a minute. Dropped off our bags to check, and then we went to Terminal 5.
How did we get there?
On the AirTram. So New York has a train system that goes around the airport. Problem is, it's outside of security. So you can't, go, if you need to use it, you'll have to go outside of security to go terminal to terminal. So checking our bags, we didn't have to go through security. We went back out and went to Terminal 5 / the TWA Hotel. Now, the TWA Hotel is built using the original terminal that was for Transworld Airlines. They were an airlines that operated from 1930 to 2001. It was originally the Transcontinental Airlines with Western Air merging and came up with TWA. Very popular airline for a long time. It's super cute. As you walk up to the building, it's done in this retro 60s format. It's really cute to walk up to. They have some old cars out there. There's a VW van and a DeLorean for some reason, because that's not 50s or 60s.
Well, it can go back in time, so it can go anywhere.
Maybe that's how it got there. But you walk in and they're playing 50s and 60s music. There's a cute little VW Bug there, and one person, Messerschmitt. I didn't know Messerschmitt made a car type thing. I thought they just did planes.
Very small.
But very small. You go up the stairs, and what I thought was the most interesting, they have a row of the flight attendants' uniforms from the beginning, from 1930 all the way to 2001. Some of them were done by designers, by like Ralph Lauren, and it's just unique to see the changes in uniforms as we move towards the future. There's a cute little example of a beauty shop there and a Twister game. I don't know if they expect us to play that or if it's just for looks, but very cute. And in the back is an airplane you can go in and look at if you want. On either side of this terminal-like lobby is the hotel built up. Not very big rooms as far as we could tell. We didn't go look, but it runs about $360 to $400 a night. Maybe a little more depending on the fees. We did find out that you can actually rent it for the day. So if you have a layover for several hours during the day, anywhere from 4 hours to 12 hours, you can get a room, take a nap, kind of refresh, probably take a shower, have kind of your own little space for a little bit. And that's a little bit less. They also, as you walk around the terminal, or what's not the terminal, it's really the hotel lobby. The new terminal is behind it. But there's little cafes, you can get snacks and drinks and just enjoy the ambiance there. It's a little quieter than the regular airline terminals. Come around one of the corners and they have lots of old vintage travel posters. And I like an old travel poster. So those were really pretty to see. We enjoyed our time kind of wandering around in that area. Like I said, a neat little vibe hanging out there for a little while before we had to go back and get on. We went to Terminal 4 from there to the Capital One Lounge, because at the moment we can still both go in with our Capital One Venture X. They're changing all those rules. After February, only one of us can get in, so we're not sure how we're going to use that in the future, but we did enjoy the Capital One Lounge. for just a little bit. They have a yummy bagel bar there, all sorts of different food. Oh, and they have a
cheesemonger. It was really cool. I mean, this is their new flagship lounge and the one that they've most recently created. And the only other one we've been to besides DFW. So we've been to the Dallas-Fort Worth one several times and really enjoy it. So we were looking forward to checking this one out, and it did not disappoint. It was a really nice.
And while we were sitting there, they brought around afternoon tea, because I'm sure a lot of international travelers are used to afternoon tea. It was very good. But then it was time for us to fly. So we went back to Terminal 7, went through security. That's the first time I think we had gone through. Oh, no, we did have to go through twice. We had to go through security to get to Capital One Lounge, then out and back through security in Terminal 7 to get to our flight.
But it was nice because we'd already checked our big backpacks. All we really had was what we were carrying onto the plane. So that was really quick and easy. And we checked, and the lines were really light at the time, so it allowed us to kind of maneuver around in these 3 or 4 hours that we had before our flight took off. But we took Condor Airlines. Paula mentioned that before. They're a competitor to Lufthansa, kind of the everyday folks flying around. And
not like the Condor jet that used to break the sound barrier. No, that's
the Concorde.
That's the Concorde. Oh, that's right.
But it's like a big condor bird, I guess.
It's true.
But it's not extinct. And no, it was nice. We looked at some videos and looked at because we found a great deal in their business class, and that was the big deal. We really wanted lay flat seats going over to Europe so that we could try to get some sleep on the plane. But we also didn't want to break the bank. I mean, like anybody, right? So we want to share with you kind of how we got that deal. Read a newsletter from Daily Drop. We subscribe to the Daily Drop newsletter. They have a more premium service, right? Mm-hmm. The Daily Drop Pro that you can, and it'll give you things like you can search for flights using miles.
It's got a great tool out there that you can use that makes it easy to find the good deals.
Yeah, we didn't have to find the deal. We knew the deal. We just found that the tip about using Alaskan, and at the time they were merging with Hawaiian Airlines. And so Hawaiian was having a 1-for-1 or 100% sale on their miles. And so we found we could get these flights on Alaskan for 55,000 miles and like $49 each. And so really we needed to get 110,000 miles. We bought 55,000 Hawaiian, doubled was 110. That only cost us $1,400. So even after the fees, it was $750 each, one-way business class from JFK to Frankfurt. So that was something we were really excited about. And so we'll spend some more time talking about these later, but we just wanted to share that, and we'll give you some better tips in the future. But that got us in the air. But how was the flight?
The flight was great. I still didn't sleep like I wanted to, but that's just me. I can sleep on trains. I can sleep in cars. Planes, I still have a little trouble, but I'll get there.
But it was great service. They were there anytime you needed them. Food was fantastic. We'll show you a picture of the picture that we're showing is just the appetizer. So
I couldn't even finish the main course because the appetizer was so much.
I mean, they had tons of entertainment and movies, but we were trying to sleep, so we kind of watched one and then we went off to try to get some sleep. But a little bit narrow for me. I mean, my wider shoulders, but it worked. Still would recommend them. So then we arrived where?
Yeah, we arrived in Frankfurt, Germany.
So how do you get around in Germany most of the time?
Trains. Trains is the best way to go. On occasion, we'll use a car, but most of the time we try to use the trains. And DeutscheBahn is the rail provider in Germany. You can buy tickets from electronic kiosks there, in person, online. We did all ours online this time, and there's a DeutscheBahn DB Navigator app that you can use.
Yeah, so we created an account, got our app, bought the tickets. Actually, this time we bought just one ticket, really, because we looked at all the tickets. Check out what you think you're going to do before you check out this next option. But we kind of looked and said, we have to get to Koblenz. We have to get to Koblenz to a couple different places. We have to get from there back through Frankfurt all the way to Munich. So we kind of laid out the train trips we knew we were going to take. And then we looked at this new option that they have, and what was it?
It's a Deutschland Ticket. So for €58 per person, or €58 per person, You can buy a ticket. It gets you on all the regional trains, all the city transportation, S-Bahn, U-Bahn, buses, and the only limitation, you can't use the inner city, which is just a little faster, but it's not that much different. It gets you where you're going.
But you can just jump on any train at any time.
So it was so nice. We didn't have to plan ahead to when we got out of our passport control in Frankfurt. We could just pick the next train that we wanted. Where if we were buying a ticket, we would have needed to kind of gauge how, if our flight's on time, if we get through all that, when are we gonna get the next? So we might be hanging around the airport a while before we schedule, or if our plane's late, we might miss what we scheduled. With regular tickets, you do want to book ahead of time because it gets more expensive the closer you get to departure. So this way, we didn't even have to plan ahead. When we were ready, we just walked out of the airport into the train station and got our train to Koblenz.
So this one, it's a little different because it's actually a subscription service. So this, instead of being a ticket, you're kind of subscribing, which means it's a monthly pass, like Paula said, but it's calendar month. You have to cancel by the 10th of this month or it'll automatically renew for the next month. We knew that going in. Luckily, we arrived on like the 4th of September. We'd already purchased the month starting the 2nd, and we immediately canceled the subscription. So ours was only going to be good through the end of September anyway.
And the app we used kind of gave us a little reminder. What app did we end up using?
We'll put the app on there because I can't remember it off the top of my head. But we'll put it on there and share it with you because we saw the interesting thing, because it's a subscription, they really wanted you to connect it to like your German bank account. You can get, that's the common way to do it. You can do credit cards, but with a few different apps that allows you to do that. We had a little trouble with the credit card portion working. It just kept getting stuck at the actual credit card processing part. But we found one that allowed you to use PayPal. And so that worked great for us. And so there's multiple choices. There's several good ones out there. We'll put a few that we've seen down in the comments and give you some of that detail. But it was as simple as that. And so now we had this app. And anytime we got on a train, if someone checked our tickets, we just popped up this QR code and we were good to go. All right, so we took full advantage of that Deutschland ticket. I mean, you got to see what's going to work for you. If the number of trips and all that's going to work out, and the timing is probably the bigger challenge, man, if you're going to be there for any amount of time, that's highly worth it. I mean, even if you add a few high-speed trains to it to go further distances, I mean, we did that. So let's kind of talk about the first place we stopped at. We went up to Koblenz.
So using our Deutschland ticket, we got to Koblenz on a 2-hour train. We did have an hour delay. On occasion, the trains will be delayed, and you just have to learn to kind of live with that. Still, not having to drive is great for me.
And when you're slow traveling, that's the beauty. I mean, travel day is a travel day.
Yeah. So we get to our apartment, which was in a great location, about 10 minutes from the train station, and then a little bit less than 10 minutes to the old town. Walked in, it was 3rd floor, 4th floor?
But it had an elevator.
3rd floor. It had an elevator, so that's nice and rare. And we walk in, has a nice little kitchen. The hostess had left us pasta and sauce to cook. Everything we needed to cook with was there. We had a wash machine. Didn't need a wash machine that soon, but I do think we found a reason to use it. I'm trying to remember. Big shower. Walk in, our bedroom was comfy, had a little couch to sit and watch the TV. We were in the city. If we had left the windows open, we probably would have heard a lot of traffic, but the windows kept the noise out. So we slept really well and had the lovely European windows that I like, where you can turn it all the way up, just open it a little bit. There's a little slit to get the air in, or open it, flip the handle the other way, open it all the way. I love those. But really nice place to stay. We enjoyed it and took some walks to Old Town and found some interesting things in Koblenz. We had stopped there, I think, did I already mention the castle?
Yeah, I mean, well, we went there because it was close to El's Castle, right? And since it's going to be closed when we went back in the wintertime, we wanted to make sure we got it. So that was the primary thing, but it was a great little city.
You probably saw that on our last video, so...
Yeah. And now the town itself is kind of interestingly located. It's at the confluence of the Moselle and Rhine rivers. And yes, I had to look up what confluence meant. It's like really where two or more rivers meet. But it is, so it's kind of cool. You got the Rhine, you got the Moselle. They meet right there, right at the corner.
Lots of trade in the past went right through there.
Yes.
They were both major rivers that take stuff up and down, products up and down the river to different places. So a very important spot in history at Koblenz.
So of course, right there at the corner, they had a nice little park. They had the Deutsches Eck, which they called German corner. And there's a 37-meter monument of Kaiser Wilhelm there. And of course, they even had it set up for a concert. They had like a stage. So we couldn't go out to the very tip because the tip was covered by
porta potties.
Yeah, porta potties. There was no reason to get a picture of porta potties. So now what's cool is also right there across the Rhine River is this fortress up on the hill. It's the Ehrenbreitstein Fortress. And they got it conveniently, you're kind of like, great, but that's across the river. And there's not a bridge there. But there is a cable car. And you can get on the cable car and take it right up to the fortress.
You get a really good view of both the rivers coming in right there. It's really nice.
Yeah, let's see, it cost us 21.9 euros, so almost 22 euros each. But that got us the cable car there and back and the tour of the fortress itself. So the fortress...
Not a guided tour, just a walk-through tour on your own.
Right.
Really interesting things to see.
The place is huge.
It is.
And it's been built over the centuries and been used for so many things, trade being a key part of it, protecting the area. But just the interesting things I came up with is just World War One. If we go to then, it was occupied by the U.S. as their headquarters during the occupation of the Rhineland. And so they were actually going to destroy it in 1922. But the American general there, Henry Truman Allen, prevented them from being destroyed. And so, but they left in 1923, and it was the first time that the U.S. had occupied European territory. So, thought that was cool.
I thought it was neat. In some of the rooms, you have little displays or little models of, when it was this big and when they added on and when they added on over the many, many centuries as it got bigger and bigger. So it was always a really good point of protection up there. They just, as more people got involved, it got bigger. So it was really interesting to see.
Yeah, and so then as it moved on, World War II was really just used to store archives, cultural objects. They did have some flak guns there. But now as you come, it's a museum today. There's a youth hostel on the site somewhere. We didn't see that. But it's supposed to be 157 beds, a youth hostel. But the place is huge. They had a stage set up there. So
they did.
Unfortunately, we missed the music in both instances. But we love a little live music. But it was a great place to go around. Paula mentioned the views from up there were great. The views on the cable car were phenomenal.
It's not very far from the Old Town. So the next day we took off towards the Old Town. There's a fountain there that has the history carved into it. And it talks, I think we're going to show a picture of who created that and what the different levels.
Yeah, when you say history, it's kind of like starts at the bottom, oldest, and shows you eras on the actual fountain itself. It's really cool.
It was really interesting. And there's lots of different little restaurants and shops down in the old town, so we enjoyed wandering around there. There was a really pretty church building there, Basilica of St. Castor.
Yeah,
Definitely worth the stopping and seeing.
Inside and out, it had beautiful gardens around it.
It did.
It was right down off the corner, so it was really easy to do right after you come off the cable car.
And I think a lot quieter there, a little bit off the more tourist section of Old Town.
But
lots
Old
of good
Town's
food.
beautiful. Lots of little streets to wander, shopping that she mentioned, food. But then there was this neat little fountain. It was called the Shangle Fountain. So what was so special about it?
He spits. I don't know if that's special or not.
Well,
It's
at
better
least
than
he's
the
not
peeing
peeing.
fountain.
Yeah.
He's not the peeing fountain. But he spits out far enough that you can see little kids play around, splash around in the water that come just to kind of cool down a little bit. So a little different splash pad, a little bit older splash pad than what we have in the U.S. But then after Koblenz, it was time to start heading down to Italy.
Well, we actually went down a little bit. The neat thing that we did, I just wanted to bring this up. When we went to the Castle Elts, we actually, right on the Moselle River. That train ride, highly worth it. We went to Hotzenport to get off for Elst Castle. When we finished, we kept going and went to another little town called Kilcombe. And there's several. That was
lots of river cruise ships stopped there. So there's lots of tourists, lots of shops there. And we got probably our first gelato there, I think. So
yeah, but they had a beautiful little castle at the top and a church. And now we didn't go up and tour any of those. But
the town is really cute. There's all sorts of up and down the Moselle River, all sorts of cute little towns. We wanted to try and take a river cruise, like a quick little ferry ride back. However, there's locks.
It changes depth.
Height.
So,
And so there's not little ferry boats that go up and down there that you can just take, for the fun of it. So, but driving the train up and down the river,
highly worth it. The views
beautiful.
are great.
Lots of places, if you are one that wants to rent a camper, that you can camp up and down the Moselle River or the Rhine River. Both are really, really nice.
So yeah, we really enjoyed our time there. And then it was time to kind of start heading towards Italy. But we didn't want to go. We're going to Ortisei, which is in the Dolomites, the Italian Alps. And we have so much content to show you on that. It was beautiful. Loved it.
It may be a little bit before y'all get that.
Yeah, but the ride down, we didn't want to go the whole day because then we'd have arrived at nighttime. And it was like, well, we kind of want to see the ride in. So we actually stopped off in Munich the night before. Spent the night in Munich. We'd been to Munich a couple times. Loved Munich.
Not a lot of time to see stuff, but we did, of course, because we had our Deutschland Ticket. We were able to jump on the streetcar, go down to the old town there, see the Rat House or their, it's not the courthouse,
town hall.
Town hall.
Yeah.
Town hall.
With the Glockenspiel, but it didn't go on. We didn't watch it. We'd done that all before.
And of course went to the Hofbrauhaus, which I know always sounds real touristy, but locals and tourists alike go there. The locals will even tell you to go there. Food's good, and we met people from Poland there, made new friends from Poland and Chicago?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
But yeah, we loved our little quick night stay. Like she mentioned, train back and forth. We had a hotel pretty close to the train station. Went back the next day. And like I said, the train to Bolzano, we really wanted to be during the daytime. Because you're going through the Italian Alps, and it was gorgeous. It stops in places like Innsbruck along the way, which we'll be going back to later. But really enjoyed that. Now that was a transition train, so our Deutschland ticket, because it was actually going all the way into Austria, we actually booked it on an Austrian train line. And so it didn't cover it, but we knew that going in. It was a wonderful trip. We really enjoyed the short time in Germany. We actually have, if of any language we can get along with, we got a tiny bit of, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
We're familiar with some of the words.
We can understand and get around a little better. So that helped us out, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the Dolomites next, because it's not all Italian. It's kind of German and Italian. That helped us. It kind of phased us in to our Italy scene. So more to come on that. We hope you guys enjoyed this. If so, please subscribe. Just click the like button, leave us a comment. Tell us thanks, or tell us, hey, we did this, because other people are reading those. We want to share that with them as well. So if you've got any additional facts or things maybe you did in that area, we'd love for you to bring that up. It'll help us for maybe the next time we're in there. But I think that's
all we got today.
It for all. So I'll just say in the German way, I'll say tschüss.
Ciao, y'all.